Hello, 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 and welcome to The Good, the Dan, the Florida Man, episode 9. We have almost made it to double digits. With you, as always, your hosts.
Hi, I'm Ryan. They classify me as the good. If you're watching this on YouTube, you saw me wave at the wrong camera. That's because things change.
He's so pretty.
Second,
Oh, hi, I'm Dan. I am the Dan, and third.
Hi, I am Ben Brainard. I am the Florida Man, because the good and the Dan were already taken. 1 week, we will talk about that, but it's not going to be this week.
It's not going to be this week.
All right, if
Only
it is
when
your
we
first...
get to double digits.
If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. We are the Good, the Dan, the Florida Man. We are stand-up comedians that got famous on TikTok after the world shut down, and we decided the only thing the world needs right now is 3 more white dudes with a podcast. So we made one for your listening pleasure. If you're interested in coming to see one of our shows, we still do comedy live sometimes. You can find us out in the real world. Ryan, you have anything coming up?
Yeah, I mean, I got one later today, but it's... And in fact, we'll see how long this podcast filming goes. It might really get spicy. Because I'm doing it at 3:15 PST because that's 6:15 Eastern time. But yeah, if you want to see my shows, go to college. And like have your college hire me. That's because I do colleges.
Don't go to college for the degree. Go to college because maybe one day Ryan will tell you jokes.
Exactly. That's one of them.
Zoom.
Look, I went to college. I used none of my degrees, so maybe maybe you learned something from that stand-up that's better. Anyway, yeah, and then I'm going to be performing in DC in I want to say November. September? Nah, I'm performing in DC. I'm going to explain a week in the life of why I don't know what's going on right now. Dan, what are your thoughts?
I am just doing open mics because, again, Utah does not have shows yet. Or at least I'm not big enough to do shows. So check me out at all the open mics in Utah. Ben?
All right, yeah, sort of the same boat. Got a lot of open mics going on. You can head to orlandocomedy.com to get a full list of all open mics and shows in Orlando if you want to come see me. But I do have some shows coming up, few and far between. May 27th, I'll be in LA at the Violet Cactus. June 6th, I'll be in Wesley Chapel, Florida at Side Splitters. June 16th, I'll be in Daytona Beach, Florida at the Hilton Garden Inn, Daytona Beach Oceanfront. July 23rd, I'll be in Atlanta, Georgia at the True by Hilton Atlanta Galleria Ballpark. They need to stop. They need to stop right now. August 13th, I'll be in Tallahassee, Florida at the Crumbox Beer Garden, and that show is sold out, but I will keep saying it anyway. November 12th to the 14th, I'll be in Fort Lauderdale, Florida at Anime Con in the Marriott North Hotel.
I just want to know what kind of Hilton is a ballpark.
No, it's near the ballpark.
Oh, it's near the ballpark.
Okay. You're doing this. It's seconds. That's one. I want that to be the image.
Yeah, there's an actual full-size baseball field just out back.
Have a baseball field. Yeah, they're like, hey, you know what, guys?
You're just on those weird benches looking over a baseball.
The stands.
You guys. Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yeah, you guys are getting off work. You want to go throw some pitches? Yeah, we'll make it fun. Yeah, let's go.
You want to go throw the ball around? Dad?
Dad? Did you get milk?
All right. I am going to go refill my water because I forgot to do that. But while I'm going to get that, Ryan, anything happened this week?
I took melatonin last night. And by last night, I mean, here's the thing. I've become so bad at sleep that I think I've become a good Muslim. And let me explain why. Because my roommate is celebrating Ramadan right now, which means that he can only eat when the sun is down. But I have been up with him at 4 a.m. when he's been getting up the last 3 nights in a row. And I'm like, oh no.
Choosably? Or is that like you're wanting to be a part of the experience? Or you just happen to be up at the same time?
Yeah, I just happened to be up. Yeah, I wasn't you know what, I'm converting now.
Hey, I don't know.
Maybe you're just a really good roommate.
Right. Well, that's what I'm trying to do. I have made him food, hey, buddy, I knew I was already up and you were getting up, and I know that you want this. And he's like, thank you. So it's just, It's one of those things where, it's weird. It's so, we sat in my room until he started his fast this morning watching My Hero Academia because we were like, why
Great
not?
show.
Hey, we love it.
Great show. But I took melatonin at 6 a.m. and too much. Apparently, I hadn't taken melatonin in a sec. And dude, I woke up. I love
This is my little Deku thing.
I love it.
He just sits on my desk right next to Totodile.
I love Totodile and Deku, the combination the world didn't know they needed.
And also a
Totodile.
bobblehead for the San Antonio Flying Chanclas baseball team.
Yay!
And a screaming goat. I have a lot of weird stuff just sitting on my desk.
I have used deodorant bottles, so there's that.
Just a lot of. Anyway, took too much melatonin. Very much confused. This is gonna be a weird one for me, where I'm probably just gonna be baffled the whole time.
Did you fall asleep after taking it?
Yeah, but not for long enough. Apparently, my body was like, "Hey, Chief," and I was like, "Hi."
Your brain is sleeping. Your body is not.
Yeah, no, seriously. Dude, like my sleep in the last week has gone I'm back to get it. So I for a while had great sleep and that was wonderful, but I'm back to no sleep at all, and I'm sleeping in weird increments. I'm sleeping every day. I'm sleeping for 3 hours, and it's in 2 hour and then 1 hour increments, and my body's like, hey, you're confused now all the time. So that's where I'm at.
Do you want me to come over and just knock you out?
Yeah, kind of. To be honest, if you could just, can you sleeper hold me? Because otherwise, it's gonna bruise. If you,
I was gonna use a bat, but yeah, I can do that.
Okay, see, that's
I know the proper techniques. You'll be out in 4 seconds. The blood will stop flowing to your brain momentarily, but you'll go to sleep.
I love the long sleep, the deep sleep.
We don't know.
I think doctors would think we know.
They didn't teach me to check the signs and symptoms of whether or not the person is dead. Just how to do it.
All blood out, that would be a thing. Just it's out of bloods now.
Who needs melatonin when you can cut off the blood supply?
It's funny. They did actually teach me how to check all that stuff, so I will be able to know.
Okay, well that's it. At least Ben will be able to call it.
Yeah,
that'll be.
I'll wear a watch.
It'll be good. Yep. 402. Boom. But yeah, I got a new computer as well. I have a built PC. Well, I didn't because I tremor, so I had to have Micro Center do it, which is so sad. It's always funny to me when people are like, oh, they're just like, but your thing doesn't get in the way of anything. And I was like, my hands shake. It gets in the way of everything.
I wanted to be a surgeon.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I can't be a surgeon. I'd be a murderer. You're just a
kid. You're a kid watching Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and that elf comes on screen. That's like, I want to be a dentist, and you're like, ugh, I guess I can't be everything.
A perfect world, like that.
I belong on the
conversation.
There was a guy that wanted to be a dentist and went to the Island of Misfit Toys, but he could be a dentist. What a jerk! He's just dancing on your dreams right now, Ryan. He didn't even kind of shake.
He's not even a misfit at that point. He's just a more successful me. That's so frustrating. But yeah, I got a new computer, so if you keep seeing me looking at the wrong angle for a camera, that's because I'm just not used to it. So yeah, that's what I got. Dan, what you got?
I babysat my nephew, and he is very high energy. I love him to bits and pieces. Old? He is, I can't remember if he's 2, I believe. Yeah, 2. Okay.
So still
incredible.
Cute.
His name's Mason. He's hilariously funny. But yesterday we were going over colors, and the only way to get him to recite his colors was to be aggressive and repeat it very loudly. So I had to be like, pink, and he would be like, pink. And I was like, blue, and he was like, blue. And then I was like, yellow, and he was like, Yoda. And that was the whole.
I am terrified that
yellow is Yoda.
This is gonna come out in him as just repressed trauma when he's an adult. He's gonna walk around a corner and he's gonna be in school. He's 16 years old. He comes around a corner and there's just someone standing there that scares him, and he goes, white.
What if that's the only way he can learn is by being yelled at, and his teachers are like, you don't yell at kids, and they're like, no, you need to yell at this kid.
He'll do well in the army.
Maybe he's going to be the cause of trauma for a lot of kids. He's going to be pink.
Can you imagine him during a test, multiple choice, D, all of the above. Oh my God.
Other than that, I exciting news, guys. I got hired by Beehive HQ, a new digital media company. I'm getting my own daily show. Yay!
Hey!
That's
Other than that, it's just been me watching Drag Race. So, yeah, Ben, how's it going?
We're just moving right along past the Drag Race thing. I filmed a couple sketches at Universal recently, which was super cool.
Oh.
I got a buddy that works there, and he is trying to move, so he's just kind of like, whatever. And he started this character on TikTok that he is doing. It's the Right Wing Wizard, and it's just a wizard in like the Hogwarts world that is just super right wing. And so a couple of his sketches did really well. And he was like, hey, do you want to come to Universal with me to film a sketch? And I was like, absolutely, I do. So it's Florida and the Right Wing Wizard go to Harry Potter world. And there's some really good lines in there. Like, we went to the broom shop, and we're standing in front of the brooms, and he goes, hey, man, you think they got that new Nimbus F-150? And I go, no, but they might have the Sweep Grand Cherokee. Turns out it's all just Roombas, because these electric liberal hippie vacuums are taking over the cleaning supplies game. It's real dumb.
I really want to see a broomstick with a bed in the back of it, like a truck. You know what I mean? Like that. Like I can't get over
I really want to see a Quidditch match played with Roombas, though. I feel like that would be very entertaining. Like
hovering across. Shock. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So cool.
You get a little too close to another player, and I go.
Yeah, no collision. Yeah.
By the way, the guy's name that I did this with is Ray Reyes, Reyes. It means kings in Spanish.
Yes.
So if you look up Ray Reyes on TikTok, that's he posted the first part of it on there.
The question is, does he speak for the brand?
Oh, no, so we actually, he was really worried, and some of it, like HR and some of his managers was like, we don't know if you're allowed to do this, so I sat him down, and I told him about Ryan, and we, in the very first clip, if you start watching the video, is me and him sitting down in front of the camera, and we both look at it and go, we don't speak for the brand or the company, and then the sketch starts.
I'm infecting the world! This is amazing!
The
influence.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, man, but it was fun. I got recognized once while I was there. I tried really hard to not walk around with the hat and all that, so I don't think too many people really saw me. But like one person did recognize me and then followed me and Ray around for like 15 minutes before they were like, hey, we really like your videos, and then just walked away, and I was like, yes, I know.
Oh.
You have not been hiding.
Fame is so fun.
Do not work for the government in spying. Like, this is...
All right, and that is all that I really did this week. So that moves us on to my favorite part of the podcast. Story time!
I'm excited.
He's a little tired.
I'm so out of it. My brain is moving at like 30% speed. This comedy show after this is going to be wild.
Why don't you just start us off with story time, Ryan, so you can nap during the rest of it?
That'd be wonderful. Thank you. What I've learned is that like I couldn't even my brain wasn't able to pull up like a story, so it's just a series of unfortunate events. Which could it just be the title of my life?
Yeah, that's just how you started this podcast. So yeah, let's just keep the theme going.
Yeah, might as well. My YouTube ads are getting weird, guys. They're getting so weird, and I'm confused. And you're like, I think Google thinks that I'm like a sad older white woman, and that makes me sad.
Are they wrong?
I mean, they're not wrong, but it'd be nice if they couldn't guess that. You know what I mean?
Right.
That would be the biggest reveal of the century. You, Pastor Ryan, is an older woman.
Is an older white woman? Yeah. well, here's what I learned, because I was driving at one point. I'm listening to YouTube, because that's how you drive in California, because you're going to be in the car for so long. Please, everyone needs to go home. My favorite thing, though, is on Sundays, no one's out, and it's like, thank you, City of Heathens, you beautiful people. Yeah, go stay at home. I know you're recovering. I'll be out. But dude, I got, how you do those back-to-back ads? I got the first one was for a psychic that you can call, which always screams of total BS to me. It's like,
if
I'm
she
not
doesn't,
even there.
Okay,
if she
we
doesn't
need to do
answer,
that on a live. We need to do that.
Absolutely.
We need to call a psychic and get our tarot cards read or something.
Okay, but I'm saying if she doesn't answer on the first ring, then she's a fraud.
Right. That's so true. She should have known I was calling.
If she doesn't call me.
Dude, why are psychic shops always in terrible parts of towns, in tiny little places? Really, you could have read the stock market there, Lindsay. You know what I mean?
You didn't have to read the future for this one to know about location.
Right? Yeah. This is. But anyway, so I got one for a psychic, and then the next one was a wedding thing, and I was like, man, this was a power team up. To be like, you're trying to find your person, you're trying to find your man, and then also get it locked in, lock it, zip it, and secure it. That's
little did you know, Ryan, this was actually just one ad for Las Vegas.
Right, it really could have been. It should have been.
Your psychic is also an Elvis impersonator and an ordained minister.
I love it. Have I told you guys about getting in a fight in Vegas?
No.
Okay.
But you should.
Here's story time.
There
it is. You just sometimes got to find it. By the way, the other ad I got on YouTube was for schizophrenia. And it was you need to call your doctor if you're concerned about schiz. Well,
I've seen your TikTok videos. Yeah.
They seem a little concerned. Well, here's the funny thing, though, is I then immediately thought, wait, why did I get this ad? How do they know what's going? And then I thought, oh, this is how schizophrenic people are made. Is they just keep getting ads for schizophrenia, and then of course you get paranoid because you have and so anyway, it caused concern. Anyway, I'm in Vegas. I'm 21. It's the first time I've ever been to Vegas at 21 with my buddy Casey Jones. That's his real name. He's not named after the Mutant Ninja Turtles guy, but he could be, I guess. So it's R. Kelly and Casey Jones just hanging out in Vegas. Terrible combination. We go to
not a single
Beach
one
Club.
of us was thinking, oh, that's probably his nickname because of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But you were just to be sure.
Ben, I'm not sure where I am.
I'm
right
not
now.
friends with a cartoon. He's like, I'm not schizophrenic, but I'm not friends with a cartoon.
But I'm not friends. Yeah,
my friends are real.
Man, I just realized that this is gonna definitely make me sound like a full insane person.
And we love you for that.
Thank you. I'm the blue one. Anyway, I'm not even the human character. I'm just one of the imaginary friends. We go and we're going to this beach club. It's called Tao. It's to put it in perspective. There's a pool and it's got stripper poles in it. In the pool, which I think is neat.
Based on your track record, the pool thing is the scariest part here for you.
There's so many scary. The people part is probably the scariest part. Here's the thing: the dance floor. It's like this tiny little dance floor, but it's in between two VIP sections. Me and my buddy Casey, we go to because I don't know, you guys have been guys in Vegas, and to be a guy to drink for free in Vegas doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Because
yeah, sure.
I've been a gay in Vegas though too, and that does get me free drinks.
Yeah, so being a gay in Vegas gets free drinks, and I've never had an alcohol, so I've never needed a free drink.
Fair. Well, here's the thing: being a straight guy, you're never you don't get bought drinks, and so we went over to buy our drinks, and then it was $16 for a single drink, and we were like, well, you know what? Poverty is going to keep us from being intoxicated tonight.
And suddenly, Ryan was like, I need to ride this stripper pole very hard right now.
Ryan was like, how many clothes do I have to take off to get a free drink right now? Because I'll do it.
Because I didn't actually enter the pool because I honestly was there for the music because I like EDM because apparently
you don't have
taste.
To explain yourself to us, Ryan.
Aggressively.
Yeah, you went to the stripper. You went to the strip joint with the pool because you like the music. It's fine.
I didn't know it was a strip club.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine.
It was anyone to get up on, which was strange.
Can we also just discuss? That sounds like a really disgusting setting. A stripper pole.
There were
three. So it was just a random stripper pole at a pool?
It's in the pool, and it's a stripper pole in the pool. Which, by the way, is just
How does that work?
And there were no strippers. It was just for anyone who was feeling it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's going on.
Aerobics.
Yeah, kind of, maybe.
They're just fading into the drunkenness of it all. They're just
really?
like,
Yeah. But
here's a stripper pole.
Me and Casey are totally sober, and we just go to the dance floor because we're like, I just want to be close to the music. And
There's
it's
also
nice.
a dance floor at this pool?
Yeah, well, it's like a little dance floor. It's right up to the DJ booth, and then there's 2 VIP sections on the side. We're over to the far right side.
Are you wearing board shorts?
No, I am wearing.
So you're
I'm wearing
dressed for EDM.
Nice shorts and a button-up is what I'm wearing.
At the stripper pool.
And then
with the
shoes
EDM dance floor.
Yeah, I was not dressed right for this. Like, I'm aware. To be honest, any clothes when you're at an EDM dance club in Vegas is too many clothes. But so I was definitely
also,
out of
EDM concert, and you said
pool.
Shorts and a button-up. That's what people want.
I looked nice, dang it, Dan. I'll tell you what. I was trying to be a pretty boy, and so I'm there, and I'm standing. It's me and Casey, and there's like 8 people in front of us, and there's 6 people behind us, and the 8 people in front of us are a mix of guys and girls, and the 6 people behind us are the frattiest douchebags that have ever fratted in douchebags.
Sure. And you guys are just kind of like the step between.
We are exactly. We're like this weird like
because like you're not a douchebag, but you are wearing a button-up shirt at a
but it's
cool
confusing.
dance
I'll give you
club.
that. Yeah.
You're literally that meme of the kid.
Oh yeah, that had to do it to him.
Yeah,
I had to do it to him.
Dude, hey, that's really fun fact. When I was Spider-Man at Disneyland, I had a buddy come in and he was like, "Can we do the had to do it to him?" And we were not supposed to do that. I was like, "We're absolutely doing." So there's pictures of me and Spider-Man doing that. I had to do it to him.
Yeah, but good thing you don't speak for the brand of the company.
I never speak for the brand or the company. Why would I do such a thing? I named my new team on Twitch the brand or the company because I need to be able to speak for something. What's it? So we're there, we're dancing, we're having a good time, and this thing is shooting dry ice at us, like the DJ booth, and so that's cool. So it's like randomly like
it's doing what?
Yeah, it's shooting like dry ice, like a smoke screen, and this is going to be important later. That's the only reason.
It's a fog machine.
No, but it's like
it's just actually blasting dry ice at you
spontaneously. Yeah,
that will burn like you.
Slow. That's gonna burn.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Okay,
you're correct.
Cool. Okay, we've got the setting right.
So the setting is down. Now here's the thing: there were girls in front of us, and there were guys behind us, and one of them, so I guess there were 7 because this guy's gonna be taken out of the picture pretty shortly. He steps forward and he grabs one of the girls by like their rear, like like a douche, like assault. And me and Casey didn't see that, and her boyfriend did though. And then he picks this guy up by his neck and freaking John Cena choke slammed him down. I mean, it was
absolutely.
Impressive. It was beautiful, and we watched that happen. And we're like, "Oh my god!" And we didn't see what had happened. We just see da 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 da.
Yeah.
We're like, "Okay." And then
as a man who has been picked up by my neck twice by people that I was not consenting to, it's impressive to do that. It's really impressive. We don't have time. Just keep your story going.
Okay. Later, I need to know that. Anyway, so we watched that happen.
You were choking.
We watched that happen, and we're like, "Oh no!" And then the 6 dudes from behind us rush towards us, and then the 4 dudes in front of us rush towards us because they're getting ready to fight, and we're in between. Yeah. And at this point, you don't have time to leave.
EDM concert with other white men.
And the DJ, quick on his feet, started playing the Chicago Bulls intro music.
Oh gosh, I wish. Or just the remix of Song of Storms. It just slaps.
But he was probably playing Sandstormer for Honor.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was actually pretty close to that.
Not a bad soundtrack for a
the fight. Yeah, no. Darude is look. Darude Sandstorm has definitely been used for more than one fight. Let's be real. Like not in a movie, in real life. So anyway, at this point, we're stuck between these 2 groups of people, and it's our moment where we gotta pick a side essentially because we can't escape because there's too many people on the outside that have essentially closed in around us.
Sure.
And yeah, leave would have been the better option.
Okay, I'm just making sure that you knew that. You and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
But you've had alcohol at this point, right?
Well, we had like a drink. No, we were the most sober of anybody here. And we're trying to break it up, and we realize we can't because they're starting to throw. And so it's like you either pick Team Douchebag or you pick Team, and like Team Douchebag is covering the exits. And because we look like we're with the people in front of us, we're like, well, might as well be with them. So we just like squared up, and I look over at my buddy Casey, I go, you got douchebags. Yes.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing. We're also in front of the actual team behind us that wants to fight. So it's just us leading the charge of this, which is not what we wanted to do. But we were like, you know what? Screw it. Let's do this. So I looked at my buddy Casey. I was like, you got right. I got left. And because he was on my right.
You guys had moves just prepared.
Well, here's the thing. I actually fought like competitively.
You picked me up and swing me around like a bat.
Yeah.
Wait. You fought competitively for 8 years?
Yeah, for like 8 years. So like,
Well, that's exciting.
So I have like
What kind of fighting?
Chinese Kempo, Krav Maga, Russian Sistena, just kind of generic wrestling ground
You
fighting.
really went for the genitals.
Yeah, right. It was just exclusively penis punches with a couple like ball shots. No, so essentially it was one of these things where it was just like, I was just like, okay, here we go. So the dudes that line up with me are like, it's 3 dudes. There's 2 of them. I call them Brad and Tad because they were both like 6'3", jacked, just the douchiest frat boys you've ever seen. And then there was like a 5, like
Be careful
9
with the
to
rest
5
of, okay.
Indian guy who looked like he owned these 2 pet white boys. Like it was one of these things where it was like,
The way that he was acting?
What? No. He was there. Like he essentially, because he was the one. Like essentially, it's like a triangle of douchery, and he's the one in front of him. And it just looks like I don't know. He was just
like these
dressed
are my
really
nice. 2
nice.
bouncers, and he's just.
That's what it looks like. Because these guys, because he seemed to have like the more sense to the. I mean, look, they're Brads and Tads. Okay, they were just. It looked like IQ combined of maybe like 8, and so I was just like, and at one point, so I turn around to him like, oh no. Because I'm like pretty tall, but I'm not big. And so when one of the Brad,
none of us were
walks
confused by that.
Yeah, okay. But Brad walks towards me and he's like, hey man, he's gonna say he's gonna mess me up, but with other words. But he's super drunk. And so he steps forward to me and I'm wearing shoes and he doesn't have shoes on. So I just am like, wait, I don't know how this works. So I just I heel crushed the top of his foot.
Him.
I did. I foot stomped him. I tucked my head underneath him. And because I knew when you get foot stomped, you bring your head down because it hurts because that's when pain works.
Yeah.
And he headbutted himself off me. So essentially I threw a headbutt by just tucking myself underneath him. and it worked. He just headbutts.
This is the craziest fighting style I've ever heard. This is exactly how I figured that you would fight. You said I have spent 8 years learning how to fight and then listed like 9 different fighting techniques. And then you were like, so what I did is I stepped on his toes and I headbutted him.
look, there's drunk like fight style and it freaking works. Here's the thing. I was just like, because that'll work. And so I tucked myself under and he headbutts. And when you headbutt, like his eyes start to water. He hurt his nose pretty good. And so he steps back. He can't see. I'm like, that's one for me. The guy, the 5'9" guy in front of me. Sees this and goes, hey man, I realize I don't want to throw a punch because I don't want to get kicked out. I don't know if you've ever been to Vegas, but there's like a large presence of large Samoan bouncers. They all look like The Rock's bigger brother. It's just, it's ridiculous. And they're amazing. I love those dudes because they're going to be an important part of the story. And so at one point, the little guy throws a punch at me, but they've all been drinking.
5'9". He's average size.
I'm so sorry.
I just wanted to get that. Yeah.
The little guy. Comparatively, the one that is shorter, but an average man regularly.
Absolutely.
He throws a punch, but they've all been drinking. I just step it. Yeah, he throws a punch at me, and I just step and parry it. And so he just passes by me, and one of the dudes behind me just lays him out with an elbow. Just takes him down.
Because as we've all learned from Bill Nye as children, momentum.
Momentum, right? Like he didn't.
I also like that you were like, he tried to parry at me.
Well, no, he tried to
come at me, and he parried at me, and I told him
it's just a block. Like I was just like, wow, because he threw it so wide. I was like,
scoundrel.
Come at me, that
Chinese Kempo is it's just pushing people away. It's like the Barry Allen fight style of like, I'm faster than you.
It's using their momentum against them and pushing them around and stuff.
Exactly. So that's what I was like, that'll be the strategy for today. And so that is just me and Tad. And Tad is still bigger than me, but still thankfully very much inebriated. And what happens is when he squares up with me and he pulls up his hands, and I haven't pulled up my hands yet because I don't want to get kicked out. And then the dry ice blows, like the dry ice hits.
So it like puts out a smoke screen, but I'm looking behind me at this point so I can see, but he can't. But I can't see exactly where he is. So I raise my hands and I throw a punch. And apparently in between like the dry ice starting and then like this moment, he'd moved a little bit. And so I didn't hit him as much as I like glanced him, which is not what you want to do when you're fighting someone.
No.
And then I dropped my hands and the dry ice stopped and he looked mad because no one else saw what happened, but we both knew what happened. I was like,
I just like the idea. Go ahead, Ben.
I was just you just pulled like the worst Batman move this man has ever seen. You were just like, I'm about to fight. Okay, smoke bomb, miss. And then you don't disappear by the time the smoke is gone?
And to parry at him through the smoke.
Yeah.
My favorite part is there has to be a smoke machine operator who's just like, watch this.
Oh my God,
this is medieval times Batman, where he's just like, you heathen, come at me now while I have my dry ice smoke screen. And then you like try to disappear, and he's like, gosh, my horse has run away.
Right.
I cannot be thither. I am stuck hither. Come at me,
you ruffian!
Step on your toes.
Man,
watch as I step on your toes.
Hey, I'm not judging. It sounds pretty.
You ever stubbed your toe? Imagine someone else stubbing your toe for you. That's what that's like. It's the worst. But anyway, so this dude lines up with me. He's like, and he goes to throw a punch, and thankfully he'd been drinking so much. This is like such a wide punch, and I'm like, oh no. So I step, because here's the thing: if this fist had made contact with me, I would not be here today. Like, I mean, it was a solid attempt of a punch.
It would have just been like another Robin's death story in the comic books.
I really would have been, yeah. I wouldn't have even been Killing Joke. I would have been like some discount Robin. I would have been Damian Wayne. Like, just like, we never really liked him. We wrote him in. But anyway, I stepped to the side. At this point, I'm thinking, like, where are the bouncers? And that's when this dude misses me and his fist connects with the stomach of one of those huge Samoan bouncers.
Oh, no.
Now, couple things about that. First off, this punch that would have murdered me did nothing to this guy. I mean, It looked like a smart car hitting a brick wall. It was like, like nothing changed. And this bouncer,
like the vibration went right back up his own arm and his head started shaking.
Right? I watched it. I stepped aside. I was like, oh! Like, I mean, this is the end of him. And so I watched the bouncer then push this guy back with one hand, and he kind of stumbles back. But then this dude like squares up to fight this bouncer. And I was like,
better decisions have been made.
Oh, infinitely. Better decisions have been made.
Maybe not by you tonight, but...
No, that's true. But like better decisions include like drinking bleach or like, I mean, jumping off things without parachutes. I mean, like there's anything is better than what this guy did. And this bouncer just just pushed him a second time and threw him into the pool. And I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And I literally threw my hands up. So I was like, yeah. And that's when I went airborne. Because I didn't see the second bouncer. But there was a second bouncer, and he picked me up with one arm and picked my buddy Casey up with another arm, spun us sideways, and dropped us in the VIP section. And we look at him like, what is happening? He just goes, we saw what happened. You guys are good. Stay put. And I was okay.
Oh, so that is the only way you get into a VIP section without actually knowing any women.
Right? Yeah, we don't know where we're two dudes that get dropped in this. And my favorite part is that this VIP section ordered 16 rounds of bottle service that night. 16
So you didn't
rounds.
The actual VIPs in the section didn't kick you out afterward?
Yeah, because they were so drunk. They looked at us, and of course there's a couple different responses. They look at us and they go, dude, that was awesome. Do you guys want drinks? And we went, yeah, we do. And that's how you get free drinks as a guy in Vegas. It was awesome.
I want to know what the VIP section looks like at a pool strip club place.
They got like couches and stuff. It's nice. It's
more
nice,
dry ice pours on you.
You just turn around and you're like, what kind of VIP section? And then it's just Flava Flav handing a bottle to you.
Oh my gosh, that would have been amazing. They did hand us a bottle. It was super cool. We were like,
Yeah.
it was nuts.
What was the drink of choice that night, Ryan?
They were doing champagne. They were doing like crazy, like expensive champagne.
You were champagne drunk. Yeah.
It was great. It was super chill. And plus, we found out later that those people that were in front of us, because they got to say, the people in front of us, weirdly enough, they were from. One of them was from St. Louis and one of them was from Seattle, which is where Casey is from. But they were also from like specifically the small towns that we were from outside of like what we all say the big cities. So it was like weird, but it was cool. Yeah, that's my Vegas fight story. Thanks for paying it. Geez, I don't know. Melatonin. Dan, you got a story?
I do have a story. I have a great story, guys.
Ooh.
My story comes from this past weekend where I went on a date.
Yay!
Yay! So, little backstory. I am just getting back into dating now. I don't know. I'm trying to find. I'm getting older, and by older I mean.
Oh, Dan, come on.
I'm 28.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm like, okay, I would like a more committed relationship. I need to start like getting on the dating apps, all this sort of stuff.
If
But
I'm
what you
gonna
need to
have
know-
kids, I'm gonna lose that ability pretty soon. So
Yes. Well, and what you need to know is that I have been a very non-committal person on every single dating platform. Like people
Sure.
have messaged me multiple times, asked me to go out, and I have what? We'll ignore that.
I found something behind my chair and I didn't know why. I was feeling something weird in my back, and so I just held it up and was like, I don't know what this is, and then I threw it.
melatonin
Yes.
Ryan is weird.
Yeah, regular Ryan's pretty weird. Melatonin Ryan is uncomfortably weird. Weird? What's weird, Matt? Weird.
He's weird. Anyway, so multiple people have been trying to go on dates with me, but I have just been so non-committal, just very scared, if I'm honest. Because I'm scared to date, guys. I'm scared of what it's like. I'm new to all of this stuff, right?
What
Gay
are you
dating.
scared of?
The
gays?
Men.
Okay.
No, I love the gays. It's just men specifically. So I was like, okay, well, let's see what happens. Anyway, I matched with this guy, and he was like, you realize that we have matched 9 times now at this point.
Wow.
9 times, guys. We matched 9
How many
flipping
apps?
times.
How many apps can you possibly be
Oh, no,
on?
this is just 9 times just on Tinder. Oh, we're not counting
Because
all the
you just
rest
keep
of them.
deleting your Tinder account and making a new one, and it's this guy again.
Boom. That exact response.
So,
and I planned,
this is
and I
just
originally...
like this is that scene from Ferris Bueller where like Ferris's mom gets a call from the principal and he's like, "Are you aware that your son Ferris has missed school 9 times?" And you're like, 9 times? And he's like, 9 times. And you're like, he's been sick a couple of times, but like I don't remember matching with you 9 times.
So I think I definitely missed
you
more
joke,
school.
but that was definitely my response. I was like, yeah, what? No.
What? Crazy.
Yeah, what's crazy? Anyway, so he's like, we need to go on a date. And I was like, yes, we need to go on a date. He's pretty cool. I've met him a couple times in person.
Not on dates.
Not on dates, just met him randomly.
Just 2 guys hanging out alone.
Well, met him at like little parties here and there, right? So
Sure.
we had talked, and I was like, he's so cool. It's just not the right time. And by that, I'm just scared. I'm just fearful. So
Right.
I agree. And I say, yes, let's go on a date. He's like, we're going to go to the Tulip Festival because we're gay and we love flowers.
You have talked about dates twice on this podcast, and both times are the gayest thing I've ever heard in my life. The first one, you were like, yeah, it's a first date. We went to a pottery studio.
Every time,
then-
man, I try not to say it, but it's like, wow, that is an
I
aggressively
forgot
gay
about
date.
the part.
And nothing wrong with it, but just like, I don't know,
God.
But
dinner.
you're not helping the stereotype. You know what I mean? Like every
Sorry,
time,
guys,
I'm
I like tulips. Jeez.
to be
We
fair,
love the gay, and also I think that's also the funny thing is that's like the gayest flower you could possibly get, right? Besides a pansy or
I
like a daisy.
never associated flowers with gayness. You're
Well,
gonna
you should.
have to.
You should do that more. You should do that more.
What is a
'cause
straight
we know.
flower? Is that a sunflower?
That's weeds. You guys
Roses?
don't have flowers. You guys
Oh, we
just
don't have flowers?
crap.
We have the
grass.
weeds that are like purple. And we're like,
Yeah,
these
that's
are
all the
these are
colors.
pretty
If that's what you
flowers.
want.
Flowers?
Whoa.
That's bull. You can't have
No.
all the colors and all the flowers and then all the letters. Okay,
Right.
pick something.
We're weeds because we're everywhere and we seemingly grow out of nowhere when nobody wants us to.
You know what? That's very fair. Wait, so we're dandelions? Ah, sweet. I can be a dandelion.
Yeah, you're still very.
Yeah.
You know,
And
got,
you
like,
can germinate
quirkiness.
just by being blown on.
Yeah.
That was beautifully worded. That was just.
Anyway, so
Good.
I get to this date and I'm like, okay, I'm very nervous, obviously. I'm like, oh, what is this going to be like? This is my first date in a while. It's also like my first like non-COVID date. Well, not necessarily non-COVID, but just like the first date where we're actually like dating, not virtually, right?
Right, and also
So
the
it's like-
first time you've been on a date that wasn't supposed to be a date with your sister that you just got invited to.
Exactly.
Yeah, no muskets were involved with another dude trying to shoot his load, not at your sister. Like that's.
Oh gosh. Anyway, so we start walking through this garden. They have this huge field of just like tons of flowers, down a whole
sounds
bunch
beautiful.
of pathways. It's great. It's going really well. We're talking, but we are being rushed. And by that, I mean that there are just tons and tons of people just funneling through. Like
And nobody's
You
stopping to
wouldn't
smell
believe-
the flowers.
no one's stopping to smell the flowers.
They
That's
literally
the whole
came to a
We had to
flower.
like stop, and people kept like walking past us like we were inconveniencing them. Like we were trying to like feel them, smell them, and they were like, "Oh my gosh,
Ugh,
these gay kids."
look at these flower lovers trying to shove their love of flowers down our throats. Get your own thing.
At the tulip festival.
Yeah, we came here to casually walk by flowers, not enjoy them. Good God.
Next-
Joke, but that's
next thing you
exactly-
know-
there were people in golf carts, guys. Who is enjoying the tulip festival and just?
They're speed running the tulip festival.
And this is why I think that the Tulip Festival should be exclusively for gays and no one who is straight, because it clearly isn't working for the straights, right?
You know what? I'm gonna weirdly support this 100%. Like that's
Yeah.
like we can
People's
go
kids-
stand on a different hill with binoculars if we're really that invested to watch it. But like, no, we're like,
Don't bring a golf cart to a Tulip Festival. That's all I'm asking for, okay? Anyway, so we're like
That's
trying
wild.
to like enjoy our time, trying to chat, but there's just tons and tons of people around. Anyway, so we get to this koi pond, and I'm like, oh, koi, wow, this is so
and you
cool.
pushed him in.
Oh, I wish.
can we talk about the fact that that's like such funny dating talk of like, oh my gosh, fish, right? Like, aren't they cool? Like,
But that was exactly what. Wow, koi are so pretty.
Wow,
Wow,
look at these flowers and these fish. Isn't the weather beautiful today?
That's like the first. You guys are really joking, but that was the first 30 minutes of conversation.
oh my gosh. Because I don't know about you guys, but when you're going on dates now, I don't know,
I
like,
feel red.
I don't like talking about what we do for work. You know what I mean? Like, this
I
is
don't
not.
know. Yeah.
No. So it always is like, what's the least awkward thing I can say? Because I can't explain giggles on the internet. Like that's not gonna. No one's like,
just-
my dad will love to hear that. You know what I mean?
You're
That's
a fan.
It's weird to me that the state of Utah, that's basically run by Mormons, has places like a tulip festival with a koi pond in it. And they're like, yeah,
Why
no,
can't
there's no
Mormons-
gay people here.
Oh gosh. Anyway, so I start leaning over to look at the koi, and I get a splinter in my finger, guys. But not like a
Oh.
small splinter, like a big splinter.
Dan, no.
And again, being the gay that I am, I'm very dramatic about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, a splinter. Oh no, what are we gonna do? Anyway, so he's just like, I'm so sorry. I guess we should just keep going. And I was like, okay, cool. Now we've got
You're
a splinter.
not gonna worry
We're
about
being
my
rushed.
splinter.
We're just we're just being rushed everywhere. We're just walking around, and eventually we see the sign that says "Secret Garden," and we're like, "Okay,
I'm sorry?
that's the
Narnia?
gayest." No, we're like, that's probably the safe place for the gays. Like the Secret Garden
Yeah.
is the gayest sounding place in the Tulip Festival at this point. And we're like,
Absolutely.
which
It's
is
actually
quite
you
a
just-
level up. That's
you
like
go- You go to the secret garden at the Tulip Festival right around the corner from the koi pond, and as soon as you enter, it's just three guys going, Found some more. Get them, boys.
It honestly does sound like a bad trap for gay people.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
Well, that's what we kept joking about because we walked into the secret garden and everyone in there looked like they wanted to beat us up. I'm
my
not even
God.
joking. It was very intimidating, guys. Not only that, but she met, what am I saying? He met his ex's friend in the secret garden and was like, "Hi, who are you? Whoa, this is now again. We're still having a good
crazy.
time. We're having a good time by ourselves, but everyone else is just like these gays, eyes watching. Everyone's looking, all of this sort of stuff. And so we keep walking, and eventually we start finding ourselves in this like very flowery forest, and we're like, okay, the secret garden wasn't a safe spot. The regular tulip festival wasn't there, but at least this forest, this like foresty area looks cool. The next thing that we come upon is God and Jesus Christ looking down on Joseph Smith in statue form.
Yes. Here it is. We found it.
There it
We
is.
found the Mormon trap.
When did they get Utah? There it is. There's the Utah.
Not only that, but then we found a statue of a bloodied Jesus carrying the cross on his back right next to that, and just continued to find more and more statues of Jesus all throughout, guys. And so if it wasn't like bad enough that we were like gay in a very straight Mormon place, it wasn't good that we had to like relive all of our like religious trauma on the date.
Nothing bonds people more than shared trauma.
That's 100%. I talked to someone last night, and it was like, yeah, I went to elementary, like Christian, like elementary through high school Christian school, and I was like, I went to elementary through college, and we immediately were best friends. You know what I mean? Because we knew exactly what had happened.
Yep. Well, and that was the nice thing. We did definitely laugh about it. We laughed it completely off. Eventually, we found a little empty bench finally, because people were leaving, and we're like, wow, it's great. A little blonde 16-year-old pulled up right next to us on a golf cart and said, "Hey, you need to leave. We're closing." And that was the end of our date, guys. That was the end of the entire date. So that is my dating story for this past week, full of the Tulip Festival greatness. So yeah, that's my first date back in the game.
If that wasn't just like a huge metaphor, the whole thing of just like, man, the straights are really inconveniencing my personal choices right now.
Honestly, that's how I feel about dating too. The straights are really ruining it for me.
Yeah, the straights are ruining everything, and here's Jesus. Ugh.
But anyway, Ben, what's your story time for this week?
All right, I kind of mentioned this last week while I was talking about shooting the AT-4. In the Army Reserve, which I was in for 6 years, just got out this past March, they have an annual competition called the Best Warrior Competition. And it starts out at like battalion level. You're supposed to do like your own competition at your company, and they pick the winner there. They send it to battalion and then brigade and then so on and so forth. But in order to save money, they just skipped the first 2 rounds of competition. And they just sent me straight to the brigade round.
It's because you fired a missile at a tank and you hit it.
Probably. No. So basically what happened was the reason I got entered into this competition is because the sergeant major was just like, hey, your unit hasn't given anybody yet. You have to submit people. And that information got disseminated to all the leaders. And then I got a text from my group text from my sergeant that said, hey, does anybody want to do BWC this year? And I said, what's BWC? And then someone else said, if you don't know what it is, you probably shouldn't do it. And then I said, I'll do it.
That's the most Ben Brainard response. So like, oh, a challenge.
Yeah, and I didn't know what it was. And then he told me, oh, it's the Best Warrior Competition. We send you to Camp Landing for like 4 days. You do a whole gauntlet of military stuff, and then you win, maybe you don't, whatever. And then maybe there's like a second round that you go to. We're not sure. By the way, you leave in 2 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they didn't give me a packing list. They didn't give me advance notice. I didn't even know what it was. They were just like, you're leaving in 2 days, get ready. And I was like, what do you mean for what? And they were like, whatever, dude, I don't know.
Get ready for whatever.
And I have a screenshot here. This was the email that was never sent to me, detailing what we would be doing during these 3 days. Land nav, the confidence course, the Army physical fitness test, the M16, M4 weapons qualification, an 8-kilometer ruck march, an essay, a written exam, an Army warrior tasks and weapons knowledge drill, a mystery event, and then a board appearance in the Army service uniform, which is our dress blues.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to prepare for all of this, not knowing that any of that would be happening. So I showed up with nothing. I just brought like a couple uniforms and then some extra gear. I was like, I don't know what they're gonna. I brought my rucksack and then like some stuff. And I was like, I don't know what they're gonna need from me, man. I'm just showing up. And I get there and it becomes very obvious that I am the only one that was not told about this beforehand. Because there's like 8 dudes there that are very much just like, yeah, we've been preparing for this for months. We know what's going. We know what to expect. We have all our gear here. They're doing like a gear layout when they get there, checking things off like a packing list. And I was like, am I supposed to have that?
God, we've all been there in that moment of like,
yes,
do I need those things?
I don't have that thingy.
Yeah, and I forget. I've been twice. I forget if this one was the one, or if this. I think this one was the one where they sent with me. They sent a. They sent a sergeant with me. From my unit to go through the events with me to make sure that I'm doing everything right. He's supposed to know stuff that I don't know yet, so he can prepare me for what's to come. Here's the thing. They didn't actually send him with me. There was a sergeant from my unit that was actually going to compete, and they sent him with the sergeant, and it was 2 different competitions. There was the NCO one and the non one. So I was a specialist competing. So they didn't send anybody with me. There was a guy that came with the other sergeant who knew what he was doing, and then there was nobody with me. And so I'm just standing there alone, and people are like, "Hey, where's your guide?" And I was like, are we supposed to have a guide?" And they're like, "Yeah, you're supposed to have a guide. You don't even have like all the equipment that you were supposed to." And I was like, "I didn't even know I was supposed to be here until 2 days ago, dude." And they're like, "Okay, all right." And at this point, I'm the laughingstock. Everyone just thinks I'm the joke. Yeah, and I'm just like
Brainard.
Yeah. So my sergeant who was there for the other sergeant just kept coming back and forth every so often to check on me to make sure that I was like doing the right thing and stuff. And the very first thing we did, we came in and we came in late that day, and they're like, okay, we're gonna lay out our gear, whatever, and then we're gonna wake up early the next morning at like 4 or 5 in the morning. And we're going to do the PT test, which is 2 minutes of push-ups, 2 minutes of sit-ups, and then a 2-mile run at like 5:30 in the morning. And there were no lights on this track. It was outdoors. And so they drive us there. It's like 5:30 in the morning. I'm tired as all hell. And they're like, okay, 2 minutes of push-ups, I do it. 2 minutes of sit-ups, I do it. 2-mile run, I do it. I am the only person that maxed out this PT test that came. It's a perfect 300 score, and so in the Army, for my age group and my gender, you need to do, I think it was like 72 push-ups in the 2 minutes. You need to do 78 sit-ups in the 2 minutes, and then you need to run the 2-mile run in under 13 minutes. And I did like 90 push-ups, 90 sit-ups, and then I ran like an 11:30 on the 2-mile. And I came back in, and by the time everyone else finished, I was just like, I'm awake now, I guess. Let's go eat breakfast, whatever. And they're like, what is wrong with you?
Ben, I have a question. Are you sure you're not a Samoan bouncer from Las Vegas?
Oh my
It certainly sounds like it.
I don't know my real dad. So
maybe.
That does.
You never know.
That does track. Well, either that or you were just created in a lab with a super soldier serum. Like,
Yes, yeah.
Well, and then here's the thing, like after that we started doing all the extra events. We didn't really have any relaxing time for the next like 2 days. It was just straight test. And after like the second thing that we did, so we did the PT test with 8. Yeah, so right before the second thing, which was the confidence course, they told us that the second round, whoever wins moves on to the second round, which is in 2 weeks. And I was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to be there. And
well,
they're
you
like,
stop
well,
doing so good.
yeah, well, that was that. So I did.
Yeah.
So I did, right? I stopped taking it seriously altogether. I was just like, all right, well, I don't want to go to the second round, but I don't want to be the laughingstock of my unit, you know? So I have to do okay. And at that moment, I was like, let me just come in second place.
No.
And that's
Literally dashed from The Incredibles. Carry on.
And so we did the confidence course, which is just an obstacle course. It's a lot of climbing, jumping, crawling, all this stuff. You have to climb up a rope ladder. You have to climb up a regular rope. You have to climb over like that A thing that's just logs straight across. You have to jump over barricades without using your arms. And then there's another one where you have to go over, under. You have to jump on the angled wall. You have to jump on the angled wall and then roll over. I had to think about which direction it went. Yeah, so you had to jump on that.
It's a
and then
dog
roll
show
over.
for humans.
And then
Oh my
There's
gosh,
one-
it is.
yeah, that's exactly what it is. There's one where you
Got a
jump,
lovely
you grab
breed
the
of
rope.
Brainard.
Yeah, you jump, you grab the rope, you swing, and you
wonderful
land on a
band.
log. You have to crawl under barbed wire. And at the end of it, you hit the finish line, turn around, do a sprint one way, turn around, do a sprint another way. And I went like 3rd or 4th in this competition, and the first 3 guys took off at a full sprint and they're just and by the end of it, their sprint at the end was just like a slow jog. They finished it, they fell over, they threw up. And I was like, well, I don't want to do that. I'm not taking this
I
seriously
have
enough.
fallen over before after running.
Yeah, I am not taking this seriously enough to want to throw up right now. And this was one of the events that my other sergeant came to run it with me. He was like, yeah, I'll run with you through the event and I'll keep pace, let you know how fast you're doing. And I was like, you don't have to do that. Just come
fine.
with me. We'll have a good time. And they say, go. And I take off at a light jog. And the guy with like the starter's pistol is like, what are you doing? And I was like, pacing myself. And the sergeant that's with me is like, are you not gonna run it? I was like, not even a little bit. And we get to the first event, and I just it's super pace. I'm not like killing myself, but I'm a good climber, so I'm just going up the thing. I hit the thing, I fall down. I don't even climb down. They had mats there. I was like, I did pole vault in high school. I just fell backwards, just landed on the thing. And then I rolled out, and he was like, are you okay? And I was like, I know how to fall. And then we just lightly jogged to the next thing, which was like another climbing thing. It was a Jacob's ladder, so I climbed up that. Again, came down like 2 spokes and fell onto the mat. And he's like, you have to be feeling this. I was like, not really. And then I just like light jog, and I went all the way around, and they were like, all right, now do the sprint. And I was like, maybe. And I hit it, and I didn't sprint, but I did pick up the pace. I went a little bit faster, and then I hit the thing, and I came back, and I finished it, and just like not even breathing heavy. And they're like, all right, your time is whatever the time was, which puts you in first place by like 40 seconds. And I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is and I just sat there making jokes with the other people, and they're like, bro, are you even trying? And I was like, yeah, I'm trying. Like, you saw what I did there. Come on, man, I'm just having fun. And then it was like land nav, and that was, they send us out into the woods with a compass and a map and all this stuff. And you have to go find 5 points in 3 hours. And my whole thing on that, well, you weren't allowed to be with other people. You were just with one person to make sure that you didn't die or get lost in the woods. And so I went out there, and I was like, okay, the faster I finish this one, the sooner I can do nothing for the rest of the day. So I got all 5 points in like 30 minutes, and I came back, and I sat down, and I had to wait there for the entire 3 hours because they all didn't finish on time. And I was like, this is the worst group of best warriors.
We're going to lose if these are the best warriors.
Yeah. And then we did the M16,
America's
M4 weapons qualification. And usually I do pop-up targets, which there's a 300-meter range with targets that pop up every 50 meters, and they pop up, they go down. Way more difficult than a 25-meter paper target. It doesn't move, it just sits there, and there's a little image on it, and they're like, this is what you shoot. And I hit like 38 out of 40. And I was like, I can try it. And I didn't even like do my regular thing of like taking breaths between shots or anything. I just like breathe
You
out.
just one-handed it.
Yeah. And I was like, ding, 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 ding. And I got like I was just like, yeah, man, 38 of it wasn't perfect. You know, I'm sure someone here from the best warrior competition is gonna shoot a 40 out of. Nope. I had the best score in that. And then I'm just joking this whole time. We do the essay, we do the written exam. The essay was like, so something along the lines of like, how would you eliminate suicides in the military? And all I wrote was, if you want to eliminate suicides from the military, first you must eliminate the military. And I turned that in. And they did
I'm
not.
just picturing you getting hunted down by like the military right
They
now.
did not like that too much. They didn't like it so much that they never spoke to me about it ever.
What?
And then I got a perfect
You are
score.
literally
Like,
Steve Rogers.
yeah, and then I got like a perfect score on the multiple choice test. And then we had the Army warrior tasks and weapon knowledge. So they took us out into the woods and they set up lanes, and it was like reacting to contact. So they had direct fire, indirect fire, gas. And it was basically just how well do you react in these situations? And you'd go out there and somebody would jump out of the woods with a fake rubber gun and start shooting at you. And you're just supposed to know what to do at that point. And it's super easy stuff, like shoot back.
I was going to say, I don't know how to react in that situation. If someone did that to me, I'd be like, please stop.
If it's a direct ambush, you shoot back and then you take cover and then you'd run a flanking movement. But it was one guy, so I shot once. I was like, well, he's dead.
Just bang. Got him.
And they were like, take this seriously. And I'm like, yeah, I'm serious. He's 15 feet away and I shot once. I got a 38 out of 40 in my weapons qual. He's dead.
I am the best. I am the best warrior here.
Yeah.
At this point, you're just
I didn't want to
I've
be.
accepted it. I don't want to be, but you guys have made me do this. Like, I am the best.
We did the ruck march, dude, and everyone started running. And it was like a 35-pound ruck that we had to take, which is not a lot. It was just a 35-pound ruck, but this was like the last thing that we did. So it was like we were all just tired, 35-pound ruck. And what I did was I just filled up my my canteen, my water source, my Camelback. I filled up my Camelback all the way, and I weighed that. And it's like 8 pounds when it's full.
Yeah.
So I just kept drinking the water the whole time. By the time I finished, my pack was only like 25 pounds.
Oh my gosh, that's so smart.
And when we started, everyone took off. They were like, I'm going to get in the front. I'm running. No.
No.
This is an 8-kilometer ruck march, man. That's what, like 4 or 5 miles?
Mm-hmm.
I'll finish. It's fine. And
I'll
so I
get
just
there.
Yeah, and so I just started walking, and my sergeant like saw me way in the back, and then came back from wherever he was, and was like, "Hey man, you doing all right?" I was like, "I bet I'm doing better than everybody else out here." and he was like, "You know, you're probably right." And then the food truck drove by, and on base there's always a food truck. We call it the gut truck. It's like little snacks, little drinks, stuff like that. And I waved down the gut truck. I was just like, hey, stop. And so he did. He pulled over on the side of the road. And as we're walking, I was like, hey, sorry, can I get like a Gatorade and like a hamburger off that? And he's like, I got you, bro. And so he hops on the gut truck, buys me a Gatorade and a hamburger, and then jogs to catch up to me because I have not sped up at all. And so he catches up to me, hands me the Gatorade and the hamburger, and I put the Gatorade in like a cargo pocket, and I'm just eating this hamburger, and there's a turnaround point halfway around, so people have started to turn around, and they're seeing me, and I'm just chilling, laughing, eating a burger, drinking a Gatorade, and they're all like sweating and dying, and I was like, hey man, I'll see you at the finish line, and they gave us an amount of time. I think it was like 3 hours to finish the 8-kilometer ruck march, and I was
3
like,
hours
for 4 or 5 miles,
4.5, yeah.
but in like boots, full uniform,
Okay, yeah.
and a rucksack. And I was like, I know pacing. I ran cross country for years. I'm gonna finish this in 2 hours and 30 minutes, and if like you're not gonna stop me. Sure enough, 2 hours and 30 minutes, I crossed that finish line in second place because everyone else wore themselves out running, and so their recovery speed was slower than my 2.5 hour. Some of them didn't even finish in the 3 hour mark. I was so mad.
You were literally the turtle from the Rabbit and the Turtle story.
That's exactly what it was. And I finished. I'm joking the whole time. And then the last event they have us do is we get done with the ruck march. They're like, okay, everybody shower, and get dressed in your dress.
Is that a competition too?
No, I took my
Everybody
time.
shower.
Get that loofah. Left pit, right pit.
It was everybody shower and then get dressed in your dress uniform. We're gonna do the board. And I was like, I don't have a dress uniform. I wasn't told that I need to bring it. And they were like, ah! Like the sergeants that hadn't watched me this whole time were just laughing at me for not having it. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go in my uniform. If you say I didn't tell you, I told you. And I'm just sitting there joking around. Everyone else is like fixing their dress blues, and I'm just messing around. And these kids are taking it seriously. And a sergeant, one of their sergeants, their E6, comes in, grabs me, pulls me outside, and was like, "I need to have a serious conversation with you." And I was like, "What did I? I'm sorry. I don't know what I did, but I'm sorry." Yeah. And she was like, "No, you need to apologize. You're not taking this seriously at all. There are people here that have been working so hard for this. They have been training, they have been studying, and they're here, and you're making this look like a joke by not caring." And I was like,
yes.
Sir, with all due respect, if they can't keep up with me when I'm not taking it seriously, then I don't think they trained hard enough.
That's so savage and
she was about to start yelling at me, but then my sergeant saw what was happening, came up to her, and was like, first of all, this is not your soldier. Second of all, maybe you need to fix your soldiers before telling my soldier that he's not allowed to laugh. And I was like, hey,
dab on him, Sarge.
And that was it. And then we did the board, which, if you don't know what a board is, you go in there and it's just every high-ranking officer and NCO they could find that will just ask you questions that you do not know the answer to. And it's not so much testing your knowledge as it is testing your ability to perform under stress. So it's like sergeant majors, lieutenant colonels, like all this. Like the lowest rank there was an E7, and they only had him because like a sergeant major couldn't make it.
Whoa. Oh wow!
And the E7 that they grabbed was a guy that was there with another soldier for the best warrior competition. So he had been hanging out with me because he was like, "You're the most fun one here. Like this isn't fun to me. Like I'm just having a good time." So he knew who I was expecting nothing of me. And I was like, that's right. And I come in and I stand at attention, and it's just Sergeant Major so-and-so, Specialist Brainard reporting to the board as directed. And he's like, okay, do your soldier's creed. And I did the soldier's creed, and he's like, you may have a seat, and you sit down at the position of attention, which, if you can imagine, is just like straight back, hands on your thighs, legs together, feet together, everything pointing straight forward and rigid. And so I sit like that. And then the sergeant major goes, you can relax. And then I go, all right. And I slide down into the chair. And this was like on like a cafeteria table. So there was like the table directly behind me. So I just like slink down in my chair and I put my elbows up on the table behind me. And the faces on every single man at that table at the board went just like, oh my God. But before any of them started yelling at me, the sergeant major that was in charge just started laughing. He was just like, well, I did tell... Yeah, he was like, well, I told you to relax. And I went, I'm pretty relaxed right now, Sergeant Major. How do you feel? And he just goes, can't wait to take these boots off. And I was like, best part of the day, isn't it? And everyone else is losing their minds. They're just like, what is happening? 2 of the kids that left the board threw up because of how stressed they were. And I am just sitting here joking with a sergeant major like I have barbecues with him every Saturday night. And then he asked me, started like the personal question that he asked everybody, you know, what do you do? What are you in school for? Blah, blah, blah. And at the time I was like, oh, I'm in college for engineering. And he's like, that's super cool. How'd you get in that? And I was like, well, I was the president of the drafting academy in high school. I'm actually a certified draftsman. And he was like, no shit. I was the president of the drafting academy at my high school.
No way.
And now I teach drafting to college students. And I was like, no shit, Sergeant Major. That's so cool. What do you use? And we're talking about program. And then the E7 that was there was just like, hey, Sergeant Major, are we just going to give him the win or are we going to ask him the questions now?
Got him.
And I looked at the E7. I was like, I'd like to not win, actually. So if you could give me the questions, that would be great. And the Sergeant Major laughs. He thinks I'm joking. So he's just like, all right, yeah, you're right. And then he goes, all right, let's start with, you know, so-and-so. And they ask you questions that you don't know the answer to. And whatever you answer, no matter what, they will follow it up with, are you sure? So if they're like, what are the colors of the rainbow? You got to be like, the colors of the rainbow are red, orange, yellow, green, violet, indigo, blue.
Gay rights.
Yeah, and they'll go, are you sure? And you're like, yes. Or you say... no, I am not sure, but I will find you the answer. Like, that's the appropriate response to it. And so I'm sitting there, they're asking me questions I don't know. Some of them are pretty easy, you know, and I'm answering them. Some of them I don't know, and I'm just like, I don't know that one. And that's just how I respond.
Yeah.
And they're like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, pretty sure I don't know.
Yeah.
And one of them, go ahead.
I just love the fact that like, are you sure you don't know? Yeah. Why would that be my lie? You know what I mean? Why would I?
Yeah.
Why would I
You think
BS
I wouldn't
that?
just guess?
Right.
Oh, I forgot. I went in this with just like regular uniform, not dress uniform, because I didn't have it. And the sergeant major, that was like the first thing he asked me. He's like, where's your dress uniform? I was like, I didn't know I was supposed to bring it, Sergeant Major. He's like, how did you not know? And I was like, I was told to come here a day and a half before I was supposed to come here. I didn't even know what this was. They just sent me here. And he's like, you didn't know? And I was like, nobody is even here with me. This guy is here because he came with another person and knows me. And he's just here for moral support. And the sergeant major's like, you didn't know what you were doing and your unit didn't tell you ahead of time? And I was like, negative, Sergeant Major. And he looked at my scores and it was like, how did...
How?
And he just puts it down and goes, remind me to send an email to your unit later. And I was like, all right.
I can do that.
And one of the questions that they asked me was like, what isn't an AAR? And if you don't know, an AAR is what's in the military referred to as an after-action review. You do a thing, and then afterwards you ask everyone that performed in it to be like, hey, how would you rate this? Is there something we can improve on? What should we keep? That's an after-action review. But the question was, what isn't an AAR? And I was like, oh, man, that's a pretty broad question, isn't it? Well, it isn't. Well, it is an after-action review. It isn't anything else. Did you want like a specific answer? And the one sergeant that's asking me is just like, I'm over this kid already. Everyone else at the table is just like trying not to laugh out loud.
Like it's pies and cars and Xbox controllers.
Yeah, that's what I said. Because I was like, did you want was there a specific answer you're looking for? And she goes, yes, there's a specific answer that I'm looking for. I was like, okay, an AAR is not a roller coaster or a sandwich. And like 3 guys just lose their minds. And this started, we should just skip this question. And I was like, okay, I don't know what you're looking for. Honestly, I've given you the right answer.
I know it's correct. Yeah.
They move on, and when I leave the thing, the board, all the rest of the guys, all the 8 other guys are just like, "Oh my god, how was it?" And I was like, "It was fine. Like I'm fine. I didn't have a problem with
That's
it.
good.
I don't think I got any question right.
I made them heaves.
Yeah." No way a single one of them is looking at me right now and going, "Yeah, he's the best warrior."
And yet.
And then award ceremony rolls around like 20 minutes later, and I win. And I was like,
yes.
Dang it. And
yes.
he's like, will you be able to make it to our second round on Thanksgiving in 2 weeks? And I was like, I'm actually going to be out of town on Thanksgiving. Family reunion, it's a family thing. And he's like, oh man, we would have loved to have you there. Okay, and then just points at the guy in second and goes, are you free? And the guy's like, yes, I am. Because he was taking it very seriously. Okay, he's like, yes, I am. And I was like, it's yours, buddy, have fun.
Wait, you just didn't go? You did
I didn't go.
To compete? Oh, I would have just wanted to compete. It sounds like fun, especially if you're just whooping the floor with them.
I went back the next year to the next best warrior competition, and they let me skip to the next round. So we can do that story next week.
Next
we can do best
time,
warrior
yeah.
competition. But they gave me a coin, a challenge coin, and an Army Achievement Medal for winning the best warrior competition.
Did you wear that? I hope you wear that everywhere.
No, I don't know where it is right now, actually.
That actually really
I
tracks.
lost it immediately. I've got 3 of them. It's not like...
Oh
my God. Ben is the
3
best
parts
warrior
to this.
when he's trying and when he's not. But
Yeah.
mostly when he's not.
I've never tried. But that's
No,
my
that is
story,
wild.
which brings us to our next segment, Silly Questions.
Silly question time!
So, this silly question for today. What is your favorite insult?
I can't say it, but I did just type it in chat. So if you heard like clickety clacks, I wanted to update because you can say my first one and my second one, but I can't say it because but it just makes me laugh so hard.
Okay, this is Ryan's favorite insult that he for sure doesn't ever say out loud.
That was my favorite one to hear. You ever heard someone say it's great?
Sure. His favorite insult is dip ass.
It's so funny.
Which sounds more like a command than anything.
Oh God!
If you don't start dipping ass right now,
dip ass.
It's like that Rick and Morty scene, like "way to go!" And then it's just like it makes me laugh so hard because that mix between it's just so good.
Dan, do you have one?
Yes, I actually like. Well, I probably have 2. The first one is poo, or poo face. Poo face.
Poo face. Okay, you're a child.
Because and the main reason why is because it makes you feel just slightly more gross than if you say anything else, right? Like I could say shit face, and that makes you like on edge, but poo face makes you feel dirty. It makes you feel lesser than, and that's why I like that one. But the main one that I really like is winky face.
Winky face?
Winky face, yes. Because what we call, when I was a little boy, we used to call our penises winkies. Right? So I did not know this. I did not know that you guys
the
did
rest
not
of us
call
don't.
it that. And we don't call winky faces. We call it a wink face. We say, oh yeah, send them a wink emoji or send them a wink face.
Way different.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
dropped the Y.
My freshman year of college, this girl's like telling me a story, and she's like, haha, winky face. And I was like, bro, is this woman just like
What is she saying?
A Richard head, if you
saying-
will.
Yeah, she kept calling, like, she kept being like, winky face, and I was like, is she insulting me? Is she calling me like penis face? Anyway, so ever since then, I go around and I'm like, you're such a winky face, and Americans don't know what I'm talking about. So that's my favorite part of it. Ben, what's your favorite insult?
Mine is something that I've never heard anyone else say, and it does take just like the smallest amount of thought to understand that I am insulting you. But my favorite insult is to just call people to say, you really are just a traffic cone of a human being, aren't you?
I love it so much. I love it so much. Brings me such joy.
That's it.
A human being.
We're gonna jump right into our next
Ryan's
segment.
ridiculous history.
Ding, 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 ding. And I'm gonna run to the bathroom while you're starting this.
Wow, Ben cares.
I'm gonna listen. I'm just gonna
Ben has
be
left
peeing.
your
That's it.
segment
Okay.
twice now.
I love
I'm
that.
sorry.
I just love that Ben is going to have to listen to me talk about history while he pees. Like, that's just. I hope this doesn't interrupt your flow, Ben. I hope it's lovely. Thinking about prostate issues at the moment? Don't worry about it. That's so much fun.
Soothing sounds of Ryan as you pee.
Oh, the power of urination brought to you by the voice of Ryan. PASMR with Ben. Imagine soothing waterfalls. And okay, I'm just, there's a woman named Vesna Vulovic who she holds the world record for surviving the longest fall without a parachute, which is 33,000 feet, because she was on a plane that had a bomb in the luggage compartment in 1972. It explodes. She fell the entire way, landed on like the side of a mountain, but it had snow. And she was in a coma. She was spent days in a coma, hospitalized for several months. She suffered a fractured skull, 3 broken vertebrae, broken legs, broken ribs, fractured pelvis. She was initially temporarily paralyzed, but she was like, I don't have to, like, I'll just walk it off. And she freaking did. Yeah.
She was like, I'll walk off 33,000 feet worth of fall.
Right. Exactly. When also when this happened, she was knocked unconscious when the bomb exploded, so she doesn't remember any of it. And she's like had no PTSD. Like,
Can I just say for a second, like, that was the most uncomfortable piss of my life.
But probably not the most uncomfortable number 2. You've been gassed. Okay. You know, like,
yeah, it's true.
But she was also willing to resume work as a flight attendant. But the JAT Airways, which is like the national airways, I want to say of Yugoslavia, they were like, no, you're a bad omen. So they gave her, like, she negotiated things. Here's the thing, crazy thing, in the 90s. So that happened in 1972. She was still working with them in the 90s. She took part in protests in the 1990s to like break up Yugoslavia, and they were like, we need to fire her, but they were like, we can't. She's a superwoman, and so they just didn't imprison her at all.
She's the Brainard of Yugoslavia.
She really is. She just like was like, nah, I'm gonna keep being like pro democracy. 3 times. She did. She was trying to get killed by gravity, and she was like, inertia's my boy. Like that's yeah. And she just
actually just turns out her bones are hollow. Her father is a frog.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
He also just has like she's.
Yeah, but that's her.
Don't they say like if you're drunk, you're less likely to break bones when you fall?
Because you are less likely to brace for impact. So since she was passed out because of the concussive force of the bomb, yeah, she broke way less bones.
Well, also like concussive force of the bomb, and also probably the fact that 30,000 feet, you don't have a lot of that oxygen thing. So like there was a lot going wrong.
She would have been screaming, which would have depleted her oxygen.
I also like that her company was like, we don't want to hire you back because you're a bad omen, because this thing happened once and you survived and we don't like that.
And it hasn't happened since they fired her, so were they wrong?
Well, that's mainly because the Yugoslavian government dissipated, right?
She's survived
wait, hold on.
It's and falling 30,000 feet.
So get this. So they were on a DC-9, and apparently, so it blew up. It sucked everybody else out. She was pinned under a food cart, and the fuselage, as it broke away, the rest of the aircraft plummeted towards the ground. So apparently, like the fuselage and like her, the rest of it plummeted. The cabin depressurized.
Yeah, everyone else went pew. They probably didn't make that noise. Would have been weird if they did.
Wow.
Investigators believe that the fuselage. Sorry.
That's a weird death sound.
She landed at an angle in a heavily wooded and snow-covered mountainside, which cushioned the impact. She concluded her history of low blood pressure caused her to pass out quickly, and a cabin crew pressurized kept her heart from bursting on impact. What?
What?
Vulovic said that she had a low blood pressure before flying, but she drank an excessive amount of coffee beforehand and was accepted. So literally, it's because she had low blood pressure the whole time. Wow.
I just want to know, your heart can explode from impact. Well, I mean, obviously your body can explode from impact, but that's a weird. Wow, that's insane.
Well, think about when you hit so hard, all that blood would have to go somewhere to like avoid. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So
Crazy.
that's Vesna Vulovic, who
Science.
just is she's who gravity fears, which is pretty neat.
That's wild, dude. Good for her.
Blows my mind. Right?
Good for her.
Crazy.
Wonderful.
But that's it for me. That's it for history. The Ryan's Ridiculous History. We're moving on to Dan's LGBTQs for the straights.
For the straights. Yay! Today, I actually just wanted to get an experience from you guys, mainly because we've done hygiene, we've done all these other random topics. I want to know what the gayest thing you've ever done before is, Ben and Ryan. What's the gayest moment of your life that you can remember?
See, what's unfortunate is like I've never done like any sort of gay act, so I think
I'm not asking for extra gay. I'm not.
So like the gayest thing is like my stereotypical gay thing would be like, oh my gosh, just loving Rock of Ages. Like I don't know, like enjoying the snot out of a musical.
That's pretty gay. That's pretty gay. Yeah.
Well, I went to church for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
Did you receive trauma like I did?
Not really. No.
Did you
I was
serve
a
a mission for
Sunday
your
school
church?
teacher for elementary school kids.
I love that we both taught
That
Sunday
was-
school.
yeah,
We
that
are the
was
same
a-
person.
Hey, I did too.
Hey!
Not for little kids. Not for little kids. Just
So, okay,
regular adults.
I used to work at the YMCA,
Uh-huh.
Well, that's
As-
easily.
a child care counselor for after school and then the summer program, and I was the only man they had hired in like 4 years.
I taught improv to kids as a camp
Yep, there
counselor.
it is.
I feel
That's the
like-
winner.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yep, that one's it. Okay.
10,000 hours.
10,000 hours. The full thing.
So
Dan,
yeah,
what
I
about
think-
you? I'm kidding.
What is the gayest? I came out as gay, guys. That's my gayest experience.
Yeah, but that's not gay. That's just Dan.
Well, here's another question. What would you classify as gay?
Just like the stereotypical. Like I don't even think gay. I like to use gay as an insult, but only because like I'm not actually referring to people that are gay.
I get that. I get what you understand
And
by
so
that.
like anything that would fall under that, like
'cause I think that's what you were asking with
I
the
don't-
question is what's the most stereotypically gay, like
Yeah.
attributed
Yeah, and that's
exactly.
what I mean. That's what I mean. How gay are we
Mormon
going?
missionaries, super gay.
Yep.
Yeah, no. Hey, you're gonna go hang out
I
with
was
your best buddy
I was at a show the other day where another gay comedian went up and he was like, it's
Yeah.
weird because he was basically saying like it's the gayest situation you can be put in. And it's mainly because God is calling you to that position to be with a man for 2 years. He's like, it feels like God gave me a boyfriend and I wasn't allowed to do anything with him.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yes, I love it. But and yeah, I think it's.
I think
I
a
blow dry my
Mormon
hair.
missionary is the gayest thing that you've ever done, and you've been gay.
It was pretty gay. We went and read books together. We taught people what
Did you guys
we
go to
thought
Tulip
was right.
Festival, though? That's the real question.
Ooh, we went to Bouchard Gardens. Does that count?
I'm gonna go with yes. Because I don't know what it is.
Yay! That's just another place. But that's my LGBTQ for the straights this week, guys. Yay! Ben, what is your wonderful, wonderful breaking news?
All right, Ben's breaking news. Okay. A woman in California with blocked arteries was diagnosed with acid reflux and anxiety instead, which, in the doctor's defense, blocked arteries would cause acid reflux and anxiety. So
That's true.
he's not off. I feel like this is actually just more of an indictment of millennials than anything. Because so many of us have anxiety so bad that when a woman comes in with a real heart condition, the doctor took just one look at her age and was like, well, here's Xanax.
You're right. This'll fix it.
Funny.
Okay, let's see. A new small study shows that light therapy could help veterans with PTSD.
I mean, I can't believe it. I don't know what they do with PSTD, though. That sounds like...
Post-stress traumatic disorder.
Yeah, that's for all those dyslexic vets that unfortunately saw some stuff. Like, that's just...
I saw some stuff, man, but it was out of order.
It was confused.
I just feel like this discovery is super cool. But it's kind of weird to see my grandfather giving veterans the same advice that he gives me and my brother when we're sad. Just, you need some sunlight.
Go outside.
You're not depressed, you're dehydrated. Drink water. It is important to note that this study took place in Portland, Oregon, where there is no sunlight. So they just gave a bunch of vets a flashlight and went, just look at this until the voices go away.
Did you fix seasonal depression? There you go. It wasn't even PTSD. It was just the sun's never out. Like that.
Fun fact: the sun just never shows.
It wasn't the traumas of war that's getting you down. It's the sun not being present.
Two women will flank an American president on the dais of the House chamber as he delivers an address to as he delivers an address to a joint sessions of Congress for the first time in American history.
Yeah,
because those positions are held by the vice president and the speaker of the House. Which, for the first time in American history, the vice president is a woman at the same time, and the speaker of the House is also a woman. So they'll be sitting behind him. It's a big step for women everywhere. Almost as big as that one time we almost elected one as president.
Well, also, why is Biden gonna straight up look like he's out of Charlie's Angels? Like, that's what it feels like. Like, that's the cover of that.
Yeah.
Like, just...
Hello.
Yeah, but like
creepy old man.
This is an obvious upgrade to anything that we've had before, because now there are two women standing behind the old white man. Usually it's just one because the other one is in the kitchen. Some of these jokes I probably shouldn't do anywhere else.
You're gonna get. I hope SNL costs you, and this is the video they.
Yeah.
At this point, we're just saving Ben roast material, or like Ben
I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, Ben Brainard. Do you know this?
He hates women, and all he does is talk about Ryan hating women. It's a cover. Like,
all right. On the topic of climate change, a small green rock's warning about our future. When asked, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson said, "Sorry, I don't know him." Apparently there was a rock found in West Antarctica that was picked up by a glacier a long time ago and carried there before being dropped off. And it's just always interesting to me to hear about how they did Uber on the Titanic. That's a dumb one, but it's clever at the same time.
It's great. No, it's great. I love that.
Okay. Next headline. Microsoft is changing their default font from Calibri after 15 years. This comes to us right after a full year of most of the world taking to the streets and demanding change. The fun part about this is they are allowing people to vote on the new font, but they have banned Comic Sans because they've been on the internet before and they knew exactly what was going to happen.
Oh my gosh. Dude, I want Times New Roman. That would have saved me so much time in college. Because that was MLA format, and that was like that was all the formats. Why is it not? And apparently you can set it for yourself, but I was dumb.
All right, there's a new article out saying meet the 12-year-old graduating high school and college in the same week. His name actually is it's Phineas Flynn, and yes, he is a little too young to be doing that.
That's what he did with his summer vacation.
Just in case you were wondering if you could have done a little bit more during your quarantine, yep. He basically, what he did was he basically took 2 years of high school and 2 years of college courses, which most of us call dual enrollment, and he's getting an AA, which would be impressive if I didn't know firsthand that some of the dual enrollment classes available are things like jazz dance and finger painting.
A study of Beyonce.
Last one. Chinese companies consider mixing vaccines and booster shots.
Yes.
I'd like to say, just on behalf of the rest of the world, China should just take a break from mixing things in a lab. Just for like a couple years. Sit this one out.
Let's just sit this one out, guys. Like, it's chill. It's fine.
Also, it sounds like a Jamba Juice recipe. Like, they're like, you want vaccine with your boost shot? Thanks.
Hey, man, do you want this
like
caramel macchiato, Pfizer, Moderna?
Oh my gosh.
All right, that is it. That's all I got for breaking news.
Breaking news.
Now it's audience submissions.
Hooray! Let's answer these questions real quick so Ryan doesn't miss his college show.
That would be nice. Am I red?
Yes, red for
Cool.
Ryan.
That does make sense.
Blue for Ben.
And the pink for Dan.
The pink
And
for
very
Dan.
pink for Daniel.
Okay. We got a question from Naomi K. What would you do with a dog army on your side? I'd invade. Well, to be honest, because I do stand up for like colleges, I just bring them with me. There's no comedy and like dogs. Colleges would love me. Oh my gosh, I'd up my rate. I'd tell you that for free. Like, that'd be awesome. Yeah, no, I'd snuggle them most of the time.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'd probably, you know what I think I'd just freak people out that I didn't like. I think I just because if I could command them, I just have them like circle their apartment buildings or like circle their homes and just sitting there staring, not wagging a tail, just sitting there like something out of The Shining.
Remind me to never piss you off, right?
I'm not actually hurting people. I'm just psychologically winning.
And I would be terrified.
Dan, what about you? What would you do with an army of dogs?
What would I do with an army of dogs? Yeah, I'd just cuddle a lot. I'm trying to think of what I would do, but honestly, I don't know. I would just go to that like weird dog island and liberate their brothers and sisters. You know, like I would
growing
just
in numbers for sure.
Yes, I would indoctrinate the other dogs in all the other neighborhoods, and I would create a nation of dogs under one dog.
One nation under Dan, indivisible by kibble and puppies unite.
Yeah. I feel like if you have an army of dogs, it's like game over for wherever you're at. So, and not because of like you, but I just feel like you can't control an army of dogs, right? That seems wild. It's not wild. Ben.
I would force sweeping positive socioeconomic policy changes in America.
Yes, that's the right answer.
Right. Basically, since it's an army of dogs, I also have all white women on my side as well.
Immediately. Children also. Yeah.
Right, yeah, so women and children. So I have white women and children on my side because of this army of dogs. So I would use the army of dogs to build an army of white women and children. And then I would use that army of white women and children to go complain to companies with their best Karen impression until companies brought about change. And furthermore, I would also have them boycott all of these powerful and rich, expensive companies, and I would say, we're not spending any more money on you, and also our husbands and friends are not going to be spending money on you until you pull away from lobbying Congress. And so that way, the companies will start losing money because no one's buying products. They'll have to pull the lobbyist money, and they'll have to, and that's the only way that they'll be able to stay in business. And at that point, I will then walk into the Capitol building and say, hey, now that, all these medical companies aren't paying billions of dollars to make you say that socialized medicine is bad, can we get socialized medicine? And they're all going to be like, yeah, we can do that, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do with an army of dogs.
Socialism. Yeah, to socialism with an army of dogs. I love that.
I just can't believe that that's what you went with the army of dogs. It's like, you know
Just
what?
thought about it, too.
Socialized healthcare. You know what? I
If
want
you've
to take
ever
4 weeks to get my back looked at, how'd you do it? Snuggles. If
you guys ever wonder what it's like to have ADHD, there you go. That's my brain at all times.
Love it.
I'm aware.
Next question. This one's specifically for Ryan. Ryan, how long did it take you to get all those degrees? Was 10,000 hours of improv counted as electives?
I wish. I made my life so much less lonely. No, it was not. I love Ben's face reaction to the lonely comment.
Schizophrenia will save you from that.
It took me 4 years to get my, I did both bachelors in the 4 year span, and then I did my master's in a year and 3 months. The master's was super easy, by the way. I don't know why it was easier than the bachelor's. I did 18 credit hours repeatedly, and then I took summer classes, and so I was constantly working for 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great.
And W also asks, it's not even a question. Sending love to all three of you, but especially Dan, sincerely an ex-Mormon gay who lived in Utah. Oh, we love you.
They're all Mormon gays. They're just not exes yet. All right. Here's one that is specifically aimed at me because of an argument I got on my live. Is the ocean soup? Sorry, I had to. No, you didn't, Amanda H. You didn't.
Is it?
No, the ocean is not soup.
It's not. It's not potable. It's not edible.
Have you guys watched?
Yes, and it's also potable.
Potable. Dang.
The long.
I like the image of putting it in pots, though. It's potable.
A lot of people think it is because they're like, oh, it's because you can put it in a pot and cook with it. And I'm like, no, it's potable because it's French.
Oh, that makes sense. Also, I appreciate you for correcting me and not letting me just live like an idiot for the rest of my life. Thank you for that. That's
and letting people on the comments be like, geez, Ryan's an idiot.
The name of this podcast episode is Ryan's an Idiot.
Right. That could be the name of every episode.
I think the sea is soup. It's a plastic soup.
No.
Have you guys watched Seaspiracy?
One, you can't eat it, and two, it's not cooked.
But have you seen Seaspiracy?
It's got the sun on it, which could count as cooking it.
No, but
you know what I mean?
You haven't boiled anything.
Have you seen Seaspiracy?
You have to boil something to make it soup.
You have to
cold
cook
soups?
the meat. Yes, you serve the soup cold, but you have to cook the things that are in it.
Well,
what if you did it with uncooked meat?
You don't have to cook food.
For it to be a soup, you have to cook foods. Just because you serve it cold doesn't mean that it is cooked cold.
That's right.
I mean, I've eaten a lot of raw
You can't cook it cold.
Is sushi soup?
Sushi is sushi, Dan.
It's
not cooked in broth.
You know what? No, it doesn't have to be a liquid food, especially with meat, fish, or vegetable stock. We know it's got fish in it. As a base and often containing pieces of solid food. That would be the fish.
It's salted, it's got meat in it, and it's got a liquid base. That's soup.
That is soup.
That is soup.
It's living fish.
Well, no, not technically. We actually
got some dead fish out there.
We're killing most of the fish every single day. If you know what bycatch is from watching Seaspiracy, we're actually killing most of the ocean's.
What's up with you and Seaspiracy?
You need to watch.
Race?
People need to watch.
Hold on, wait. Did you just talk about fish races? Are you talking? Hold on. I thought I didn't hear you say species. I heard you said we're killing most of the fish's race, and I was like, wait, hold on,
No, I probably meant to say Seaspiracy, but yes.
Dan, 3/4 of the entire ocean has yet to be discovered. You can't honestly say that we've killed most of the fish.
We're killing most of the fish.
We don't know that.
We're killing.
We literally, it's impossible for us to know that.
True, but I think we're killing most of the fish. Also, stop eating fish.
I mean, I'm going to support that, and here's why. Because it tastes disgusting. And you know what's good fish? Is when it doesn't taste fishy. That's a bad sign. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, wow, how does this taste? Oh, it tastes fishy. That's bad. Well, it's salmon.
Ryan.
So of course it tastes fishy, you morons.
Ryan, you grew up in Missouri. Leave that commentary to the Southerners that live on the ocean.
I'm in California now. I got this good sushi, which is just sushi means sour taste. That's where that word comes from. It's not a good sign.
Well, that's uncooked fish. Ryan, try cooked fish. Go to Louisiana. Eat some crawfish.
That's my next story time. I need to tell you guys about the time I ate cooked salmon, bro, in Las Vegas.
I'm hoping it's as wild as your face is making it look right now.
Next question. It's not soup.
Hi, I love your podcast and listen every Saturday. First off, Michaela M., thank you so much for being you. It's the highlight of my day. Might say more about my lack of social life. You didn't have to add that. You didn't have to add that.
You're fine. We're your friends now.
We're your best friends now.
But question, where do you think the worst physical place, as in setting, to be glitter bombed is? Have a great day.
In a glue factory.
That's such a good answer immediately.
Wow.
I think that's the correct answer. Okay. Mostly because you have to watch all those horses die. That's the tough part.
Yeah, that's
Oh no.
Flashbacks of Animal Farm just flashing.
Right? Oh. I've been put in full glitter. We used Vaseline to get it on us. That was the worst idea ever. And it was some chick that was really high who was like, you should put Vaseline. And then we Googled it later and it's like, that's the worst way to apply it. And
what's the best way?
So I guess not getting glitter on you. That's the best way. and so I did that at Kevin, Iron Sanctuary's house. So I'd go with Kevin's house because I know that it sucks. Like that's... my answer.
Okay, my answer would be biblical times. Right in that moment, you're trying to defend yourself because the entire town has decided that you're gay and you must burn. And you're just like, no, I'm not gay. Boom, glitter everywhere. Okay.
I'm everyone.
That's so funny.
All right, yeah, you can burn me now.
Fine, I'm a homosexual. Jeez.
You got me.
What's giving it away? I
love that
I think would be the worst place and setting.
It is, yes, yeah. Anne O asks, if you could name a racehorse, any name, what would you name it? Examples, my favorites: Bofa D's Nuts, 50 Shades of Hay, Potatoes.
And it's eight O's because someone's a moron and didn't know how to spell potatoes. That's a real horse.
That's great.
I know what mine is.
Proto.
It's Pote?
Potu.
Potatoes.
Eight.
Would that be
Oh,
pot?
there are 8
Potatoes.
Potatoes. Yeah, potatoes.
Potatoes.
Please look it up. It's a real horse.
It is a real horse. I actually did know that this is a true thing, and it is one of my favorite things that exists.
Potatoes. 50 Shades of Hay is my favorite. That sounds fun. What would your racehorse name be?
Fast or Sticky.
Oh.
I'm giving it an ultimatum. Like that's look at the
Fast
horse
or Sticky?
Fast or Sticky.
Oh no, Ryan!
It's a second glue joke. We're back, baby.
Oh man, I can't yell at you because my first thought was future glue.
Yeah, I was gonna say glitter glue because I'm gay.
Okay, but
we all make glue jokes.
I think in first.
Drag Race.
And in first is coming around in last, and we've got that would just be one of my.
In first is in first, and then I would have a second horse named A Head by a Nose, or not even a head by a nose, just by a nose. And so I would have in first by a nose. It's in first by a nose, in first by a nose, in first by, and it's by a nose, and he beats first. By a nose.
This is racehorse humor. I love it.
Also, like horses are done by hands, which makes no sense. So I'd name my horse say my horse is like 17 hands tall, which I don't know what that even entails. But like
not much.
But okay, cool. But I'd be like, I'd name it 13 hands just to confuse people. And we've got 13 hands standing at 17 hands tall. Like, what the heck happened here?
Confuse
pony.
8 people.
Right? Those are the 8 people I want to confuse, though.
Next question. Jennifer W says, hi, I just want to let you know how happy your podcast makes me. It always makes my Saturdays just a little bit better. As for questions, Ryan, what's your favorite animal story? And Ben, what's your favorite soccer story?
Oh, Ben, do you want to lead with this one? Because I do have my favorite animal story.
So I have a couple, but I think maybe they'd be better off as like story time stories. Mm-hmm. Just like soccer stories all together.
That seems fair.
We have the time that my buddy got hit in the nuts by a ball so hard that he had to go to the hospital immediately to have one of his nuts removed. And I decided to take the penalty kick for that moment. And I missed it so bad that it went over the net and then also over the school that was behind the field.
He lost a nut in vain? Oh my god.
We still won the game, but
that sounds, you made it sound so dramatic. He lost a nut in vain.
He did. That's ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Dude, I would be so mad. I would be
very, very mad. Wow.
My favorite, I made friends with what I thought was a raccoon that lived under my sunroom when I lived in college in Michigan. It did not end up being a raccoon, and this is definitely a full
His
story.
name was Casey Jones, and we went to Las Vegas.
Right, we went to Vegas together. I actually was living with Casey during that, and I named him Sebastian. In fact, actually, I've got a Squishmallow on my bed that's he's the actual animal that it was, and I will leave that as a surprise, okay. But yeah. Oh, but I love that question because that's getting answered. All right, here we go. We've got Anonymous. First off, love your hacking skills. Impressed by everything you do. Anyway, the Oscars were just last night and got me thinking, if there were Oscars for podcasting, which award, real or imagined, would each of your fellow podmates be nominated for? And would they win? Yes. Bonus points if the podcaster in question makes up an acceptance speech on the spot. If I'm getting to pick what I think you guys win it for, I think Ben gets most successful with the least effort. He does win, but he was trying not to, is the important part of that.
I would give an acceptance speech for this, but I didn't come to the ceremony.
Yeah, no, it would require effort, which you didn't do.
Ben would win most awarded.
And not show up for any of them.
No.
I would tweet thanks.
You didn't do what Anthony Hopkins did and Dance with Salma Hayek?
I think Dan would win most U-turns in life. For instance, he's definitely our African American on the podcast. You know what I mean? But which is but if you look at him, you're not gonna agree with us. But he was raised in Africa, was Mormon, ended up coming out as gay. The most If you ever get a beautiful someone narrating your life, it's just gonna be and it's and in the end did great, and we love him for it. That's.
Am I supposed to go with the next speech for that?
Bonus points.
I'd like to thank everyone for the trauma they contributed
to making me funny.
To the dictators that ruled my life in Africa, to the wonderful religious leaders I had that told me to go to conversion therapy. I love you. Thank you.
We actually are definitely going to have to talk about the whole the warlord, the dictator situation.
I'm going to tell you, you guys don't know the darker side of everything that I did. I went through some real weird stuff. Yes. Yes. We need to talk about the time my dad disappeared for 4 days and we didn't know where he was.
We can talk about it.
Yeah, we should. We should talk about it.
I mean, we're not therapists, but we'll make jokes.
Yeah. Which is how
it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny, especially because my dad roasted him.
Roasted what? The kidnapper?
Well, he actually roasted the Minister of Finance to his face. So
Wow.
we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
I can't wait for that story.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll make
there's
that
things
next story time.
Because I studied international relations, we're aware that it's a weird place. You know what I mean? Like every time Zimbabwe pops up in the news, it's not for like super great times. Like that's.
It's either someone got killed by a lion. Well, it's either that someone shot a lion nowadays, or that.
Ripsies.
That was like the big thing. There's like human rights violations, and everyone was like, Cecil the lion was shot in Zimbabwe. And it's like, baby, where were you guys during the 2008 elections?
Yeah, so did Todd. Like he got shot by people. Like, are we not?
Oh gosh, sorry. I'll speak on it soon, but we'll
I
save
think
that.
I thought of some. Ryan, you would be nominated for most gay.
I would for this podcast, no question, and I would win.
Yeah, and you would win.
And that's when glitter would explode. Just boom! Like that's the worst side.
And Dan, you would be nominated for most inspirational, and you would lose to Harambe.
Oh, ripped
Thank
up.
you. We love him.
But you were nominated, so.
I was nominated, which is all. Yeah, which is all I care about. Which is all I care about.
It really just feels good to be nominated, truthfully.
Wonderful. Okay. Kelly said, "Hey guys, love the podcast. Question: if you had a Ferris Bueller type day where money wasn't an issue, what would you do? Have a great day."
Not to be that guy, but
But you are.
I watched Ferris Bueller a lot when I was a kid. It was like my favorite movie in high school. And I think the only appropriate answer to this question is a quote from Ferris Bueller himself. The question isn't, what are we going to do today? The question is, what aren't we going to do today?
Yeah. No, I think it's. Like, honestly, like that's funny because I definitely love those movies where it's like you could do whatever you want, but I've definitely had some life experiences that were like nailed it. You know what I mean? Like that fight story is definitely a Ferris Bueller style, like crazy things happening. Like I agree with Ben. What aren't we gonna do today? I'd probably there'd be huge. There'd probably be. I'd probably drive tanks to a rave. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, if there's no options,
Sure, yeah. We were all thinking that.
Right? Like, we're stealing things during like a festival. We're going through like a parade. It's gonna be wild.
I would invest in Doge. I would invest in GameStop. I would. What would I do?
The question is, what would you do today? Not what would you do if you had $1 million.
Also. What?
Like money was no.
I love how me and Ben are like, let's go have fun. And Dan's like, let me make some financial decisions that set me up for a while,
guys.
Like,
I've had a hard year. Okay, I needed to make some decisions about.
I was just trying not to think about it, but I get it.
Let me see. I'd go to a bunch of gay clubs. I would pay for every gay person to leave, so it would just be me in the gay club,
and then
I
straight
would dance. Wait, what?
It'd be
so many straight women
and the straight women.
No, I hate straight women.
All you did was kick out the gay men.
And that's the two demographics at gay clubs: is
gay men and straight
women. Oh, well then I'd kick out everyone.
There you go.
I'll just say that everyone, and then I would just chill by myself in a gay club dancing to whatever music I want to dance to, and that would be my day. And I'd make money rain on me so that I would have money to invest in Doge the next day.
Yeah, you could just rent out a club. Like you don't have to kick everyone out of a gig. Like you could just rent a club.
No, I want to do it because I'm gay. I want to say, "Get out of here, you gays!"
He wants to do it the most dramatic way possible, and then he wants to dance. He wants to dance to the song. Ooh, I want to dance with somebody.
I want to feel the hate.
And people wonder why I don't have a boyfriend yet. There we go.
Oh, man. Okay, Rebecca E says, if you could only solve one world problem, what would it be? Also, hi Ben, I also have ADHD, but didn't get diagnosed until I was 24. Me too.
I have a real one and a funny one. but like that's because the funny
What's
one
the
is
funny world problem?
like the funny one is I want people to stop parking before they take right turns. Just go into it. You've got gumption. Go for it. You've got inertia. Stop pausing. It annoys me. I hate that.
Ride.
And then a real one though is like I'd hopefully I'd like to solve radicalization like just across the board. Like there's too much radicalization. No matter like where you look at it, it gets bad very quickly, and so that's a problem. Yeah.
Hunger would be a big one for me. Yeah, that's a more serious answer, but yeah, world hunger would be a big one for me.
I think I would just solve all of them.
But you only
right. So the only one that I would solve on the surface is world poverty. But that would in turn solve every other problem.
I got a question. Whoa, wait a sec. Poverty is defined as like the bottom 10% of any population, correct? Isn't that it?
I genuinely don't know, but I think
because I was about to say yeah. Guys, you like my new clickety clacks? I hope the podcast.
Poverty, the state of being extremely poor.
Mm-hmm.
The state of being inferior in quality or insufficient in amount. The renunciation of the right to individual ownership of property as part of a religious vow. So, okay, that one doesn't apply. But, it's just the state of being extremely poor. So the poverty line is just the line that you're under if, like, that's the line you have to meet to, like, live.
And that's interesting because so like for instance like the poverty line in America our poorest people are still richer than like most of the world,
right?
And so our question is like where is that poverty line? Because for instance the rest of the world like if we brought it up to our poverty they'd still be impoverished, but they'd be it depends in different countries. It's just interesting. I'm curious if it's like is that like what it means, because it's kind of funny that like an American version is like we get above our poverty line and then everyone's like they were fine like people in other countries. So it's just it's interesting.
Not according to cost of living.
Yeah.
So it's the poverty line depends on your cost of living and how much you're making, and if you're below the amount required to live in your area, then you're in poverty.
Yeah. If a family's total income is less than a family's threshold, that family and every individual is considered in poverty. So, but I guess the question is like, what is the threshold?
What the money you need to make to survive.
Is that really the threshold? I think it was.
What other threshold would there be, Ryan?
Yeah,
I mean, that's a good
the money that you make. Yeah. I need to far too many people that make
actually, so genuinely though, I would think like Declaration of Human Rights and like being able to like have that, and so that being the threshold to survive. So which just gives you the right to like travel, gives you the right for like some people petition for like the right to vacation and things like that. So that's why I asked what the threshold is, because some people genuinely consider like you haven't been on a vacation in 3 years, you're in poverty. You know what I mean? Like that's a real that's a real thing that stupid people argue about.
I think it's like food,
that is a first world problem. Though.
I think it's just like food, water, housing.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think it should be defined as that. I'm not sure if it always
and
is.
Health.
And health. Food,
well,
water, health.
I know that a lot of people. Yeah, I mean, like didn't someone say that the other day? They were like, I can't remember which senator it was, but a senator came forward and was like, people making above 400,000 aren't necessarily rich. They don't have enough money to go on vacations regularly or whatever. Like that was technically the standard for that senator in that particular instance. So I agree in saying that we need to change people's perspective probably on that. But yeah, I'd say the threshold is definitely can you eat, drink, and sleep somewhere safe, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like weirdly, we had in Zimbabwe, we had people that were making like $150 a month and living off of that, which was always that's why I want to like make a lot of money so I can just go back and like fix a whole bunch of stuff.
Like you could theoretically have like, especially if you're counting safety, like this is so much of my college coming back to me, but like if you're counting safety, like if I live in a non-safe area.
Yeah.
No matter if I've got a mansion, but the area is safe and I can't go outside, I'm technically like if safety is the baseline, then I'm in poverty.
Okay, Ryan, what exactly is making your area unsafe?
The fact that cars keep getting dropped off here and they're stolen from other places, I don't know what's going on with that.
So
I'm easy though.
I'm just saying, like, unless your area is currently being ravaged by a natural disaster, the only reason that it's unsafe is because of socioeconomic status and proximity. So if everyone in your immediate proximity is in a socioeconomic status that doesn't require desperation, then you will be living in a safer place.
That is true. I mean, it gets down to like, is crime based on desperation, or are there other factors to it?
So a majority of there are studies. I did a lot of this last year during the protest. Yeah. So it boils down to pretty much a majority of crime, a majority of the time, is based off of socioeconomic proximity and no other factors.
Wow.
Yes. It depends on the country, but yes.
Well, in America.
Yeah, I was like, because
in America,
real spicy. Like when we go further outside of our borders. But yes, yeah.
And that's not to say
we went like real serious for like a little bit there.
Right, that was who expected this to be the podcast,
and for it to come from Ben.
Right, I know.
It was great.
And you feeling okay? That almost felt like you put effort into that, and I'm uncomfortable about it.
I'm thirsty. All right, that is it. That's it. That is it. That's all. Thank you all so much for listening to another episode of The Good, the Dan, the Florida Man. If you want to catch us somewhere else, Ryan, where can they find you?
YouthPastorRyan.com. That's it.
And
Dan?
I can be found at Dan Bam Bam on all social media platforms except for Snapchat, which is Dan_YOLOLove. Ben.
You can find me at benbrainard.com. It's spelled Brain A-R-D. If you can't figure that out, try using yours. If you want to check out more of the podcast, you can head on over to GDFMpodcast.com. If you want to contact us and send us in a question, you can contact us at podcast@gdfmpodcast.com. We'll see you next week. Bye.